Hello and welcome to another episode of the Ultimate Fighting Chat podcast with me, Kungas, and the best there is, Yelland. In this episode, we're going to discuss the main card of UFC Fight Night Vegas 10, Waterson versus Hill. If you want to hear what we've got to say about the rest of the card, the prelims, then by all means give the previous episode a listen. You won't be disappointed. If I can remember how to do it, I'll try and make it come up on the screen when I talk about that, when I say that prelims bit.
Yeah, link in description and all that.
If not, I'll put a link to the video at the end of this episode, and then like he's just said, we'll put a link in the description anyway. I suppose I've got to do. No, I don't know, because last time when you asked me if I was all right in return, you didn't really want to know. But I should treat people how I want to be treated and behave. That's how I've been taught. That's how I've been brought up. Okay. All right. How you doing?
Yeah, all right, you?
Yes, thanks.
Good. Right, first fight.
Nasty. Right, see? I knew it. How do you want to do it? The first fight? In other words, do you want to start from the main event or do you want to start from the bottom up?
Let's start from the bottom up.
All right. Well, I am going to mention a few things, even though we've discussed it in the pre-fight show. Most people on the planet will have listened to that, but for the odd person that hasn't, commentators for this one: Brendan Fitzgerald, Michael Bisping. I ain't saying Heidi Andro again; she's banned. The main event was meant to be Glover Teixeira versus Thiago Santos, but Glover was positive, pulled out because of positive for COVID. And you mentioned earlier that although that fight was rebooked for, I think, the 3rd of October, didn't you tell me earlier that it's
card, wasn't it? But
that's right. It's off again, right?
That's right. Yeah, because COVID again.
Yeah, but isn't it thingy this time? Isn't it hammer chest this time, or is it Glover again?
It's hammer chest this time. Maybe you got it off Glover.
Doing like stare downs and all that.
Yeah,
press downs. So that's off. That's off again. You ain't got no date for that, no.
No, it's just been has been called off, postponed, whatever. So I imagine they'll just book in 2 times because they've both had it now, and in that it's supposed to be it now. Once they've both had it, they're all good, right?
Well,
who knows?
We'll see.
Right?
We'll see, and it's good to, in a way, to have these things happen so that we can see what happens. So we'll wait and see.
Yeah, maybe. But just listen. I'm not putting up with a 3rd cancellation. Then we're in the Magomedov Ferguson territory. So that fight needs to happen on the next booking, or forget it. Even though I want to see that fight probably more than any other in the light heavyweight division.
What do you mean forget? What are you going to do about it?
Nah, just forget it.
You mean forget that fight? That's it. That's just no more booking it. Just sod it.
Yeah, no, I don't mean forget it as in I'm going to go and top myself or anything. I mean, forget it as in, that fight is, just doomed. It's the Magomedov Ferguson. Forget it. Just the MMA gods won't let it happen.
So what's another doomed fight? The other doomed fight is the Ion Cutelaba rematch.
Yeah, against Ankalaev. Another doomed one is, for the time being, is Poirier Ferguson. We should really have a chat. We won't chat about it now.
Have a chat about it. We'll try and do a little news roundup thing or something.
I can sum it up here quickly. Poirier will have a smash with anybody. He's not. I understand the comment from Dana White about people negotiate themselves out of fights or whatever. Poirier ain't one of those blokes who negotiates himself out of fights. The bloke will fight anybody. So, it's a shame because that'd be a great fight. But I imagine it will happen sooner or later. Yeah. Those two will meet, but just for not for the time.
I've got stuff to say about it, but as we're going to do the post-fight show for this, I think there's enough to even just have a chat about that. So we'll maybe do that in a couple of other bits of news. And we might not, but I would like to have a chat with you about that. Even if it's off the air and the people don't get to experience it, I need to chat to you about that.
It's a shame for them because I'm sure they're all really keen to hear what we got to say on it.
Well, the Ingers for it is they'll be waiting with bated breath.
Yeah, I've never understood what that meant. Bated breath. What does that mean?
I don't know. I never understood it. Is it maybe you put a bit of bait on the end of an hook a fish to eat, and he reel him in with a breath.
Well, yeah, but I mean, what adds that? Ah,
Are you looking it up?
yeah, bated breath or
Yeah.
bated breath. I hate it when they do it. Refers to restraining one's breathing in anticipation or supplicants.
So it's excitement. Like, oh my God, I can't wait for him to tell me.
Yeah.
So we've sort of planted the seed now.
People probably are confused like us because underneath says, what is bated breath versus bated breath?
What?
Is your breath bated? Are you waiting with bated breath?
No, waiting with bated. Yeah.
So no one really knows. But a lot of these things, there you go. Bated breath is a phrase first mentioned in Shakespeare's The Merchant of Venice.
How did he make that up?
The word, he made up bucket loads, didn't he, of words and terms, like in a
Why
pickle.
did we use them? Why take them on? He's obviously.
Well, I heard some people talking about it, and like they said at the time, if you were watching a Shakespeare play and you didn't know, you'd never heard "I'm waiting with bated breath," why did the audience like understand it or laugh or get it? Why didn't they go, "What the hell's he talking about?" Why didn't everyone afterwards? Maybe that was the attraction, right? People afterwards went, "Well, did that bated breath mean?" But I would hate it if I went to a film and I didn't understand what was being said. I'd be like, "This film's crap." So
no, because we watched Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure and all that. You had no issue with it.
Yeah, but I understood all the words they're saying.
Did you?
Yeah, and also, Keanu Reeves is a comic genius. Doesn't need to speak.
He's real as a ball plank gizzer, isn't he?
Yeah, the worst acting performance, say, in a high budget film is him in, is it Dracula? The one with Gary Oldman? The vampire one, or what have you? He basically plays an English lawyer.
Is he in that, is he? I didn't even know.
Yeah. You know where Oldman plays the guy with the receded hairline?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's in that. Honestly, watch it. It's almost like a spoof. It's almost like, those scary movies and stuff like that. It's almost acting like that.
Well, now you've said it, I'm going to like it. This is the problem.
So will I. I'll watch it now and I'll be creasing up, but I shouldn't be. It's supposed to be a serious film. But he's acting in it. He basically acts like, which one is he? Bill or Ted? He's Ted, isn't he? He basically acts like Ted.
I don't know.
The word bait is an abbreviation of the word abated, meaning to lessen in severity or amount. So waiting with bated breath, I suppose, means waiting with, less breath. Anyway.
Mine was better, putting a bit of bait on the end of a hook.
On your tongue. Yeah, brilliant.
Thanks, mate. Yeah. Shakespeare here.
Well, I'll tell you what, I'm waiting with bated breath to talk about the first fight.
Oh, yeah? Well, hold on.
You can't just walk off in the middle of a podcast.
Yeah, I have to. Hang on.
Ooh.
I'm coming back.
Well, I should hope so.
Right.
Well, I mean, I'll start chatting about the next fight. It's Quarantillo versus Kyle Nelson. Now,
Kyle the Monster Nelson.
Okay. Now, I'll tell you something, right? Before this fight, I said in the preview show, which obviously has gone viral and millions of people have seen it worldwide. I said, I know. I almost debated not doing another show. I can't stand it. I can't stand the attention. Yeah, you don't like being in the spotlight? No, it's too much. I didn't do it for this. I just wanted to chat to my mate about UFC, and I should have just stuck to doing it over the blower. I mean, it's just getting too much. The pressure, I need a new show. Come on, guys, what's going on with the next episode and all that? It's like, listen, You recognised on the street, all that stuff. Back off. But Quarantillo, I said he was, I've not seen much light from him in his previous fights. And I'm not going to go crazy. I didn't see that much to get overly excited about in this fight either. But when we predicted Quarantillo to win, when I saw Nelson before the fight, his body just looked a little bit thicker set, looked quite athletic. I thought, I think we got this one wrong. I think Nelson's going to power through him. I think that's how it looked for the first about 3 minutes of the fight. But then exactly. Nelson's got no breath. He's got nothing. He's got one round at best in him. Yeah, he's got about 5 overhand rights, and then he's then he basically why though? Yeah, but you know why though, don't you? Well, it was the forward pressure from Quarantillo certainly didn't help, did it? I mean, he was continuing to come forward, even though
No.
he was getting clipped every now and
No,
again.
no, 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 no,
His
no.
nose
The
is
reason that the crashed out beard bloke, Nelson, right, has got no breath and no energy is because he's waiting with bated breath for the next Ultimate Fighting Chat podcast. That's why.
Yeah, it could be possible. So
That's
does
what
everybody.
happens, right? That's what Shakespeare says it is. You're holding back your breath. You shouldn't have done it. You shouldn't have thought about it. Just
They should have used it
keep your
all.
mind on the fight. Don't worry about the next episode. Right.
Well, he really went out of breath in that third round, didn't he?
Oh, yeah, terrible.
He basically just came out and kind of just got punched in the face.
Yeah, and that punch, Bizzers went mad on it and said it was a hell of a punch. And it looked a bit weed to me.
Yeah, it was one of those punches that had it landed in round one, I don't think it would have. It definitely would have had the impact it did. I mean, he done a little, silly little chicken dance and then
Yeah.
kind of face planted, but it didn't. I mean, it didn't look on the replays and stuff. It didn't land that clean. It didn't look that devastating. It weren't that amazing shot. But
No.
I do think Quarantillo looked much better than his last fight. His last fight, he had zero breath. He was like out of gas in that third round in his last fight, really badly. It was a really horrible, sloppy affair. And this one, he was applying full pressure for the whole fight, got his just rewards, as in, he kind of outlasted the guy, finished him. So that's good for him. And
Yeah, that's right. KO in round 3 by Quentin Tarantino.
that's right, yeah. So good for him.
Yeah,
But
and I agree. I thought he was quite good, and it weren't an easy fight for him because Nelson, yeah, all right, he had no breath or whatever, but he's good. He seemed all right, didn't he? Thick, strong guy. He was grief, wasn't he? For not very long. That's all. But he was
yeah,
grief.
basically, yeah, for about 3 minutes, and then after that,
Yeah,
it
get
became
it. Yeah.
pretty apparent who the winner was going to be. It's
Yeah.
all about whether old Billy could get the stoppage or whether it was just going to go to a decision. But yeah, he definitely was far more improved than the last couple of times I've seen him. So, and I'm sure he'd be pleased to hear that, he's impressed me a little bit. Sure,
He definitely will be. That is for
sure.
sure. He went in getting called Jelly and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
He might not like his nickname that we've given him, but like you said, it makes you relevant. People talking about you. So thank you, lucky Ingers. Now there was something I noticed in this fight before the fight started that Mark Goddard, who's the ref for that fight, I think he's got a lockdown bod.
All right, you think he's struggling to?
Yeah, I mean, we've all got done with it, haven't we? So it's no shame in it, Mark. But yeah, looks like he's been hanging around with Roki.
Oh yeah, we've been having a few too many burgers and chips and.
What's wrong with burgers and chips, right? I get what's wrong with the chips, right? Because you grab nothing wrong with potatoes. I don't know if you're carbs, right? But it's still saying that you pull it out of the ground. It's a potato, right? It's a vegetable.
Yeah, but it's deep fried.
No,
Usually.
all right, yeah, all right, hang on, right? So, but I'm just saying, in general, it's a veg. But yes, okay, the chips version, chopped up, deep fried. Not by you, however, because your chips are air fried. So
That's right. That's why I've got an amazing bod, though.
Right, even through lockdown, right? Whereas Goddard needs to get himself an air fryer. That's obvious, yeah?
Yep.
But so you could say chips, let's go with classic chips, right? They're terrible, chucked in a deep fry or whatever. And then the whole burger thing, barring the so-called carbs bread, the flip is wrong with, say, a lump of steak, a quarter pounder bit of steak, which comes with, okay, we'll say the ketchup is basically a couple of teaspoons of sugar on it. You can say that's a bad bit. Onions, nothing wrong with onions. Lettuce, nothing wrong with lettuce. Tomatoes, now. What is so bad about a bloody burger? It's got such a bad reputation. Does it really make you put on that much weight? And an hamburger. I admit a Big Mac will, right? It's got an extra bit of bread in the middle. It's got a special sauce and all that. Bit of cheese. You can make it bad, right? Bang bacon in it. But just a
It's
burger.
also served with some non-air fried chips, and usually is accompanied with a milkshake or a big, half-liter cup of Coke or something. So that's
good, isn't it?
Well, McDonald's is bloody disgusting, isn't it?
What is a milkshake?
Their milkshakes are nice, but I didn't.
Oh, McDonald's is crap. Yeah.
Yeah, somebody said something like there was maggots in their milkshakes or something. Is that real?
I haven't heard that one.
Real
Maggot in the
maggots.
milkshake. What a silly comment.
No, I'm telling you. All right, look, let's get on to the next fight. I'll find maggots in milkshakes.
Makes no sense. Okay, the next fight. So anyway, just to recap that, in case you've lost track of what's going on, it was Billy Quarantillo versus Carl Nelson. It was a featherweight 145 fight, and Quarantillo won by a KO in round 3. Well done, fella. The next fight is Bobby Green versus Alan Patrick. How was that?
All I can find is in England,
right.
a maggot came out of a ketchup dispenser at McDonald's. I'm sure I've seen something about maggots in milkshakes, but it's one of those crazy, whack job blokes, I think, who's just come up with some.
Well, maybe there was a maggot in a milkshake once.
Maybe,
but it don't
yeah.
mean that there's maggots in milkshakes. Stop trying to stop me having milkshakes.
No, I like them milkshakes and all. So, I'd be devastated if I found out any kind of maggot relation in them.
Devastated?
Yeah, I would be. But
devastated? Just have a zoo.
Yeah, no, that's fine. But do you know how many McDonald's milkshakes I've had in my life?
Yeah, but that's already gone through. It's
gone through.
Come out your hole. I've smelt it out your hole. Remember, I've smelt it through your trousers.
No, but what I'm saying is
crack.
It don't matter if someone said to me, that lasagna you had the other day. Look, I don't eat meat, right? But I'm just saying, let's say if I had a lasagna the other day.
You did.
Yeah, of course I eat meat for ages. Bloody lovely. But let's just say if someone said to me, okay, that fillet steak you had a couple of years ago weren't really a fillet steak. It was a cut off a human being's leg. Of course I'm going to be like, oh, what? A little bit more peed off about that than.
What about if the human was already dead and they signed the thing?
I'm not even a human. Look, we're not going to have this discussion now about, but what if you crash landed on a plane? And
No, I'm not doing that. I'm just saying, what about if he agreed it and said, I'm happy for my leg to be eaten?
I don't care. Why don't I want to eat a human leg?
Well, it didn't matter. It didn't make any difference at the time. As a matter of fact, it might have been the nicest bit of steak you've had.
It might have been, but it's not about the taste, is it? It's the moral principle and
because he's told you, he signed a waiver and said it's all right. Legs are all good. You can have me.
When I did eat meat, I ate loads of animals that never signed a waiver and gave consent. That's not the point, is it? I'm not eating a human. I wouldn't eat a human under any circumstance, unless, of course, I was in one of those alive mountain scenarios and the pilots died. And
so you would then.
Yeah, and there's a couple of sachets of ketchup left over in the.
Yeah, and if you leave it long enough, there might even be some maggots on the leg.
Well, that's it. Well, that's why you don't want to leave it too long. Hey, I'll tell you what, take the maggots and make yourself
nice. It don't matter because how many McDonald's milkshakes have you had? So you've definitely eaten maggots. I have. Listen, I have yellow waters all the time. I'm sure I've had maggots in their milkers. Something's done it.
Look, I'm sure in my time I've eaten some real funky stuff, right? There was in England, everyone will remember that there was the whole horse meat scandal. Everyone thought they were eating beef and they found out there was horse and stuff like that. And that was a big scandal over here.
I think something to do with Alistair Overeem's agreed horse or something. That it's all right in the Netherlands or something like that.
I do think it's eaten more commonly in Europe and stuff like that. In England, it's never eaten. Anyway, you won't find it in England, unless you go to some real, I don't know, like a Heston Blumenthal, and he'll give you a horse-flavoured, bit of ice cream or horse-flavoured butter. He's such an idiot.
Crap.
But yeah, anyway,
flavoured ice cream. Crap.
Bobby Green. Whose leg would you rather eat, Bobby Green or Alan Patrick's? How about that for a link?
Why out of their leg? Okay, well, they're the next fight, aren't they? I'll go with... it's difficult because, looking at the nicknames, right? Bobby's called King, so you could go, well, I've got some real, a king's leg, yeah? I've eaten the meat of a king. Or I could go Nugget.
Nugget sounds better.
So I'm going Patrick's.
Yeah. Nugget, Patrick, yeah.
So let him know he's got to sign his leg away. He might as well, because he weren't good in that fight. I mean, honestly, he was crap.
And
No
his
breath,
legs
terrible
are-
striking, and that's it. I am going to be that blunt about it. He was just crap. He weren't
his
good.
legs are pretty useless as well. And
Yeah, they were.
it's almost like his legs are being controlled by one person with a PS4 controller, and the top half of his body is being controlled by another person with a PS4 controller. They're not working.
No, it's not. You got it wrong. PS4 controller one, Xbox controller the other. They don't go. Yeah, it's completely wrong. Yeah.
They don't seem to be working in synergy with each other. But as we said before, Bobby Green is he's a good guy. He's a flying under the radar guy. He's a guy I think who gives anybody, and I mean anybody, in that. I honestly think if he fought, say, someone like a Habib, he'd give him a tough night. I'm not saying that he'd beat.
Yeah, because he's so fast and wiry and wriggly.
Yeah, scrambly and all that. And on his day, I think he can sort of outstrike a lot of the guys in that division. And I think he'd give anyone a good run for their money.
Yeah.
The top 5 guy. I don't think he's a belt winning guy. Certainly not at the moment. But he's good, and he's a top 15 guy and potential to go higher. So good for him. But Alan Patrick, he's
crap.
He's just a scrambling sort of mess. It needs to get a little bit more control and a bit more confidence in being calm and dealing with a striking situation. You're in MMA. You're not in a grappling sport or just a grappling sport. You're in a sport where people are striking, throwing punches, throwing kicks. Get comfortable with it, and you'll find that then the opportunities to take people down will present themselves more when you can kind of hold your own on the feet and actually pose some sort of threat on the feet rather than throwing big overhand rights just to close the distance and grab a leg. It's just messy. That's what all these fights look like. I'd hate to fight him. Glad that Bobby Green won. He's good. Patrick ain't. I'd also eat Patrick's leg over Bobby Green.
You wouldn't eat Patrick's face, would you? It's all skull.
There's no meat on it.
No, it's just bone face.
Yeah.
So he ain't good. But look, I'll just clarify. I know you think this anyway, but I am going to clarify. This is no disrespect to the fact that he got in there and had a fight with somebody. That is wicked, right? Really good that anybody does it. But you can only go with what you see. I'm not going to say he's great just because he's done that. That is the good bit about what he done. But watching the fight, he weren't good. That's it. Sorry.
He lacked composure. Like I said, he's sort of looks like he's panicky in there. He sort of runs out of energy too quickly because it seems to me that he's, sort of, if you like, in a state of panic. There's, like I say, I got respect for any of those guys. I got respect for any guy that gets in there and has an amateur fight or has a white collar fight.
Yeah, me too.
Good with all of it, right? And this guy's obviously very good. You don't get to the UFC without being good at some aspects of MMA or MMA as a whole. But while we're talking about the elite, some women fighters are.
Thank you.
The call is so dry, but we're talking about the elite fighting organisation in the world, and he is not good representation of it. I don't want to go any more nasty than that. So, and I'm not. The next fight, are you finished?
I'm not going to the next fight. I've got one more thing to say.
Go on.
I was going to say, was it a great performance by Bobby Green? I mean, he could have blazed Patrick easy. I mean, he kind of, intimated it himself that it weren't a great day for him. And he said why. Do you remember?
Yeah, I remember why. I remember him saying after, and again, we like that when people are self-critical and self-aware, because I agreed with him. He's a lot better than Alan Patrick or Alan Patrick. He looked like he could have got the finish towards, say, the last minute of the last round. It looked like Patrick was, ready to go, more through fatigue than anything else. But what I will say about Bobby Green is he didn't do anything sloppy or do anything wrong, where he got in a stupid scenario where he ended up. Ended up on his back or anything like that and made it a tighter fight than it needed to be. He done what he needed to do. He got the win. He should be happy about that. No one looks good against that Patrick because he's a bit
good point.
Grabby mess. And the fact is, he got the win. He's on a nice little roll, and he should be happy about it. But I totally understand why he would be a bit like, nah, that probably didn't look too great. To somebody who doesn't know that Bobby Green is good, they might look at that and go, didn't really like either of those guys.
Yeah.
Bobby but he shouldn't be too angry about it. 'Cause like I say, unless you stiff Patrick out, no one looks good against him because he's just all arms and limbs and grabbing stuff. And so that's that. He should be called the Tarantula, Alan Patrick, not Jalen. Well, Jalen Turner should as well because he's got loads of spiders. But Jalen Turner should just be called something run of the mill. Like,
yeah, it don't need to be based on the fact that he owns spiders.
Yeah,
he should be saying more to do. He's such a good fighter. It should be saying more to do with his skill set, not his pets.
Yeah, excellent.
Crap nickname. It's a crap nickname. Whereas if it was Alan Skullface Patrick, Alan Skeletor Patrick, Alan Bonehead Patrick,
Bonehead is a bit of an insult. Go on.
No, what? Being named after the bloke out of Oasis? Calm down.
Nah, but Bonehead can also be. Yeah, that's what people.
Oh, like Fico.
Yeah, you Bonehead.
Okay, yeah, all right. Okay, I won't use that one. Alan Suckface Patrick.
Yeah.
I haven't got any more.
No, well, I haven't got any. So.
All right. Okay. Well, next fight then. Now this fight, a lot of chats to do on this one.
Yeah, can we leave this till last? Maybe Ed Herman, Mike Rodriguez.
If you want, yeah. All right. Okay. No worries. We'll leave that one then. Right. No problem.
I'm not going to spend long on Roxanne Modafferi with Andrea Lee.
Well, anyway. Now, whoa. Just hang on. The process is the process. And the next fight is going to get the same respect. You just said you respect all the warriors, whether they're sad or happy, you respect all the warriors that go in there. So they're going to get the same introduction. The next fight that we're going to discuss is Roxanne Modafferi versus Andrea Lee. Listen, this is too high up on a card. You know, we've done the prelims and we're doing the main event and we're talking about Modafferi and Andrea Lee. It's what I expected. It's a unanimous decision. I thought by Modafferi, even though she was the underdog. And that Andrea Lee had zero breath in the corner after round one. She looked like she was going to cry. And it was just boring. You know, it was just a boring fight, a typical fight, Modafferi fight, to be honest. So it just, well, you know, if you've got anything to say, then by all means chime in. But, you know, silence is golden, and it says it all, I think.
Yeah, I mean, Modafferi is ranked number 7. If ever you wanted an indication
of Andrea Lee's number 9, yeah. I saw, yeah.
Bare bones, those division, you know, that division is, should I say. There it is.
And she ain't the worst, innit? No way.
No,
she definitely ain't.
She's better than Andrea Lee, right?
She is better than Andrea Lee.
Yeah, I mean, Andrea Lee was doing, you know, if she was tasked with, you know, beating up the air 2 inches in front of Modafferi's face, then she's done a great job of it.
She'd have won easy, yeah.
Yeah, but unfortunately,
wrong competition.
Yeah. So anyway, it wasn't a particularly fun fight for me to watch personally.
No.
Unfortunately, it had the ingredients of a fight where you just didn't feel like either person could have knocked the other one out within a month of Sundays. So it immediately takes away a lot of the suspension and, you know, excitement in a fight where you don't feel there's that instant anything can happen at any second. It sort of like takes away the excitement. I've already said that. It really does take away the excitement. And then also when you're getting people that are kind of punching 2 inches short of their target for 90% of the time, then it just don't make for a great spectacle. I didn't particularly enjoy the fight.
You know what? Honestly, it don't make for great chats either, does it? And that's not our fault. So I'm getting rid of it. We're going to the next fight because, you know, what is it? You can't give me an Ingers for it.
Can't get blood out of a stone.
Yeah, it's Shiner, right? Anyway, and it a bit anyway. Yeah, that'll do. Blood out of a stone. So that fight's banned, but just to
you can't polish a
turd.
Yeah,
can't polish a turd. There you go. So look, I will just quickly say though that was Roxanne Modafferi versus Andrea Lee, and Modafferi won by a unanimous decision. She was the underdog. So that's definitely good for her. And she's the happy warrior. But Andrea Lee's nickname is KGB. And I'm not doing any more time on this fight. Right? That's it. And she put a cowboy out, even though she lost on her head. You know, whatever. The next fight is Ottman Azaitar, 12-0, versus Khama Worthy. Worthy's on a 7-fight win streak.
Was on a 7-fight.
Yeah. Favourite was Worthy. There isn't much to say. Well, there is some to say on this fight, but it's a short fight, so you could say there's not much to say on this fight. So, what you got to say on this fight? I've got a couple of things to say.
Have you?
Yeah.
Say them then.
All right. I think, technically speaking, considering it was only, I don't know how long that fight was, but, you know, it's probably about 30 seconds or a minute or something like that, right? Technically speaking, the only thing I would say is that guy, Ottman Azaitar, he obviously goes nuts and clubs people, right? Powerful guy, looks really fit and everything. And they kind of went into a bit of the old phone booth, didn't they? And started smashing each other with Azaitar getting the better of the punches. There was a real problem that Worthy done in that fight. As short as that fight was, it's still something for the coach to look at. You know, and listen. You know, if the coach wants to listen, well, you know he's listening. But I'm saying, there is things to look at in such a short fight. Now, before the phone boothy bit where they was sort of swinging, you know, left rights on each other, the reason he got the worst of it really was because Azaitar got a couple of reasonably clean shots in before they got in closer. But in the close zone, Worthy made a bad mistake. And to get out of that, and I get it, by the way, you know, I guess he was slightly dazed or whatever, and he did have to make a decision. Now, he could just go left, right, hooks, and he could just carry on doing what he was doing. Weren't working, but what he chose was a real bad idea. He went for a clinch, and it was just a terrible idea when obviously your clinch goes over the head and your elbows drop down low, and it just leaves your temples and the left and right hand side of your face open for hooks in close. It was a bad decision, and that was the finish of it. And there ain't much else to say about that fight because it was that quick.
Yeah. I predicted Azaitar to win. You predicted Khama Worthy. You know, what does that say about our MMA knowledge? I'll let the listeners decide. But yeah, I mean, he's got.
Did you pick Andrea Lee?
I did pick Andrea Lee. Yeah.
Okay, no worries. I just didn't bring that up at the time. Yeah. Carry on.
Yeah. Didn't you pick Justine Kish?
Yeah, but I knew I weren't going to get to see that fight.
Right.
So, yeah, it's just a throwaway one. That don't count.
But, yeah, there's not much to say on this fight other than, you know, like you say, Azaitar looks strong, looks fit, looks capable. Looks like
good stoppage. You know, right stoppage, right thing to do. Should have been stopped. Yeah, all good.
I think Khama Worthy had a little bit of, you know, something to say about it, but I had zero problem with it. I thought it was a good stoppage. And, yeah, it was one of those kind of fights where it's, you know, one guy will sort of move on and become, if you like, a little bit more relevant, maybe, you know, sort of get a main card slot on a bit of a bigger card, and the other guy will probably slip back down onto the prelims or stay on a fight night card. And
they shouldn't get rid of him. I think he's quite good. He just got done by, you know, really, you know, young, doesn't look like a battle-worn, strong guy, you know, with a lot of power. That's all. Don't mean he's crap.
As well, isn't he, Azaitar?
Sorry, what was that?
I said he's unbeaten, isn't he?
That's right, yeah. So now he's 13-0, yeah.
Yeah, so he's obviously, you know, he's still got that, if you like that.
Yeah, he ain't scared of coming in and having a smash, right?
Yeah, he's got that belief. He's still strong. You know, he says he's got that mentality. You know, and that can, not always, that can give you misguided confidence, but that can count for a lot. Gives you, you know, just a real belief that you're indestructible, so to speak. So
put him in there with Vanderlei.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's what happens. Yeah, we'll grab him around the throat, knock the fight out of him, and then he'll go and be a consultant for some marketing firm or something. So, but yeah, he's he's a strong guy. Give anyone a little bit of a smash, but we haven't seen too much of him, have we? We've only seen he's
Nope.
had a couple of fights and smashed the people out in very quick time. So I imagine he'll get probably a little bit more of a name opponent next time to see. Is this been a couple of flashes in the pan, or is he actually the real deal?
There was another guy similar to him. I can't remember his name. His name's quite difficult to say, I think. And he was another guy from a similar sort of region as that. And I know he came in. I will get his name eventually, but I shouldn't talk about someone I can't remember his name. But he also had the thing where he would smash a couple of gizzards out really quick. And then after that, once he couldn't get those punches in the first round, he never got nowhere after that. I don't even think he's in it anymore.
Azaitar.
Yeah. How on earth did you get that from that terrible description? Yeah, exactly him. Yeah.
Yeah, because I remember he was one of those guys
that you basically just had to look at you.
Early knockouts. And he was one of those people that sort of fell in love with his own power, if you like, kind of believed his own hype, just felt that it was, he just had to land the bomb, that kind of thing, which I'm never comfortable with fighters that start to believe in that garbage. The bomb lands because you're opening up the opportunities by having other techniques. If you're just looking to land one nuclear bomb, it becomes very, very difficult to land. And so hopefully that Azaitar doesn't think all of a sudden I've got dynamite in my fist, all I've got to do is land, because it will make him one-dimensional, easy to read, and he'll start losing. Yeah, he's a lightweight, and maybe him versus Jalen Turner, who we think was
good one,
a brilliant fight. We're really kind of quite high on at the moment. Both had a good win, both at lightweight. Why not pair them two up?
Yeah, both of us, a similar stature, as in their fame, if you like.
Yeah, experience is similar, all those things.
Yeah,
so I think that's
good matchmaking, that is.
Yeah, no
Don't worry about it, because it's the lightweight classes. So is that Maynard? No, is it Maynard?
No, it's not.
I think Thingy.
Yeah, it's Maynard, isn't it?
Yeah, he's a lightweight, but I wonder if he doesn't.
Yeah, he watches the show.
So. That's what I'm saying. So he's going to look when that fight is made, then perhaps people will believe what we say about the viewers and the people that watch this stuff, the actual people that watch this stuff, because when that's made, there ain't going to be just by chance. All right, simple as that. God, jeez. Anyway, speaking of Ingers, can't polish of this and bated breath and that kind of thing. Bizzers, after fight interview, he was having a chat with Azaitar. He said that the sky is the ceiling.
Yep, I noticed that, yeah. Yeah.
Now, Bizzers is Ingers, a real raw Ingers, a proper one. And that ain't an Ingers.
No, he almost got it right, didn't he?
Yeah, the sky is the ceiling for you.
You've got to smash the glass ceiling, or the sky is the limit, or whatever. I don't know what you yeah, the sky is the ceiling.
The sky is the ceiling. It's like, yes. Well, it's not actually the ceiling, yeah, but what?
You want to tell that one? Yeah, a little bit of a drop the ball. Brilliant. Yeah, we'll chat about another time. But he's we'll see. Anyway, get him in against Jalen Turner, and let's see which one of these two guys is the real deal.
Yeah, that's it. Or is that a bad idea? Two good up and comers, get rid of one of your contenders. It ain't.
Of course not, especially not at this stage, because neither of them are contenders at the moment, aren't they?
Everyone's a contender. You've said it. As soon as they knock someone out, that's it. They become a contender, don't they? Right. So look, we've got 2 fights left. One we're obviously going to leave till the end, but that does mean we're already on the main event. Now that should say something to you, that we're going to speak about the main event, not last. If the idea is that we went from the bottom of the card to the main event, and we're talking about another fight. Why? Shouldn't it be the main event is the main event, and that's the one that we want to chat about? Well, we're going to chat about it. We chat about all the fights, right? We even chatted about a fight on the prelims that we never even got to see, thanks to BT, right? So we're going to chat about it, but it says something that you're going to chat about, this before another one. This is Michelle Waterson versus Angela Hill. This is the main event. Hill was the favourite. And I didn't like this fight. And I tell you what, people have gone nuts over this fight. They love it. It's great. And everyone's gone crazy over it. And I knew it. I knew when I was watching it. I was watching this fight going, oh, no, this is going to be another Jan Jacek, Zhang Wei Li that everyone's just going to go, this is fight of the year. It's great. And this, that, and the. I knew it. Obviously, you can tell a bit from the commentators and stuff. It doesn't matter. I still knew it had that written all over it that people were going to go, oh, my God, what a couple of warriors. What a great fight. And this and that. And honestly, I thought it was boring. It was boring, pity-patty jive. Biz has said that it was martial arts at its finest, so what do I know? But I honestly was watching it going, boring, not enjoying it. There were a load of tweets coming up on the screen of people loving it. But for me, the reason I didn't really enjoy it is because there was just no threat of anything changing. I knew it was 5 rounds, and I didn't know that it was going to go 5 rounds and going to be a decision. I mean, it turned out that it was a split decision to Waterson. But there was no threat of anything changing during that fight. There was changing as in, as a takedown now, that'll win that person the round. There was changes as regards to that. But I was pretty certain nothing exciting was going to happen in the fight. And nothing exciting happened in the fight. For me, nothing. Just having a few lumps and bumps on your face, like that is part of fighting. That don't make it exciting for me. I didn't really enjoy that fight. To me, it was just long and boring. What did you think of it?
Well, I thought it was amazing.
Oh,
Like one of the no, I'm joking. I thought it was. Look, I thought it was two athletes who were well conditioned. Lasted the 5-round course. Look, already today we spoke about people like Alan Patrick. We spoke about Carl Nelson. People who are, let's say, couldn't have done 5 rounds like Hill and Waterson done. So I think there's that to be said for it. I thought both of them, if you like, I hate this cliche, left it in the cage. I think Waterson made some good adjustments because she did lose those first 2 rounds, and I think she got the next 2. But I do think she probably lost the last round. I think I scored the fight for Hill.
I didn't.
I scored the fight for Hill, but I had no problem. It was one of ones where it's like, if it goes to Waterson, I can fully justify that as well. I've got no problem. But like you, after about the first couple of rounds, I thought neither of these girls has got the power or the dominance to finish the other. And so outside of, the element of intrigue of, can Waterson sort of claw back the 2-round deficit and stuff, like we were saying about one of the earlier fights, the Roxanne Modafferi fight, if you eliminate that element of, oh my God, someone could get sparked out any second or what have you, or someone could catch someone, if someone get, say for example, you watch certain fights and you go, okay, they're not doing very good, but if they get them down, they're a wizard on the mat, say like a Charles Oliveira, and they might pull out a sub out of anywhere. I didn't get the impression that anyone was going to sub anyone, or that anyone had the power after the first couple of rounds to knock anyone out. And so it did become, if you like, a little bit of a sparring contest. Now, I still think there are good elements to the fight. Like I say, they both competed well. It was a close fight. They were closely matched. They
both tried to win.
Yeah, there's a lot to praise them for. But like you, I don't think it was due all the praise that everybody gave it, because I was just watching it going, I didn't think it was the greatest display of martial arts. There's things that Waterson were doing, like her kicks and stuff like that, which I appreciate. But there wasn't anything on them that I thought, that kick, if it landed, that could have ended the fight. Like you say, it felt like a bit of a sparring match. And Hill sort of, I think, fatigued worse than Waterson over the fight. So she got a bit sloppy from about round 3 onwards. Her strikes got a little bit, won't come straight back to her chin. They weren't as crisp. They weren't as clean and quick. And so she got a bit sloppy. Waterson capitalised on that. So she done a good job. Like I say, there wasn't really any element where I just thought this fight is going to run its course and then there's going to be a decision. So for me, it wasn't due all the praise it got. It was due all the praise it got as in all the things I said, the positive things I said, closely contested, tightly matched, gave it their all, and there was some good skills on display. But for me, it's nowhere near sort of in the discussion for fight of the year. I know it will be in that bracket. I know
Yeah.
it will be just in that regard, but for me, it wasn't even close.
No, I don't. I don't want to be horrible or anything. I'm just, I'm going on entertainment value. It was okay. It was better than Modafferi, wasn't it? It's better than Cyphers. There's definitely worse fights. It wasn't terrible.
Yeah, it
I
was better.
think
If we go down this card, it was better than Bobby Green. It was
yeah, it
better.
was. Yeah.
Not better than Bobby Green because he's
No,
wicked.
he's better. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
It
agree. Yeah.
it was better than, if you like, it was better than Shajara Eubanks. It was better than.
Was. Yeah.
I quite liked the Barberena fight. I thought it was quite
Yeah, it
intriguing.
was
But
all right.
no, it was definitely better than most fights on this card. It wasn't better for me. It wasn't better than Ed Herman, Mike
Not a
Rodriguez.
chance. That was amazing.
Yeah, and not just because of the controversy, which we'll come to in a moment, but that fight was more intriguing to me, more interesting.
Same here.
All the way through, it had that
Yeah.
element of something could change here at any second,
Yeah.
which it did. We will get onto. But that to me is what makes a fight interesting, is the element of surprise. That's what keeps me engaged and excited and on the edge of my seat. When I feel like that's taken away, I struggle to enjoy the fight as much. Maybe that's not the case for other people, and that's why all these other people are saying it was amazing fight of the year. Then, different people look for different things in fights, but for me, it lacks that X factor, if you like.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. What do you want me to do? Just sit there forever? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do really like Waterson though. I like her chats. And
Yeah,
I
I do as well.
Yeah,
She's good.
there's that. She's got something about a little bit like we were discussing on the prelim show with that Kevin Kroom. There's something sort of authentic and nice about her. Don't like it when she does the dancing videos with Holly Hogue and all that. That's embarrassing.
No. Because that's not authentic. That's like set up dancing vid for show. That's a showy thing.
Yeah, exactly. But when she's just being herself and having a chat about family,
it's good.
I don't like family chats, but I do like her. I like the way she comes across. And I do understand why Hill's peed off. I do. She's been on the wrong end of a couple of tight decisions, but honestly, that was a tight fight, and it really could have gone either way. I don't think she can have any grumbles.
Oh
really.
yeah, look, fine. Have the that you lost the fight. It's no worries, but stop going nuts over it. I'm going to Twitter and saying what we gonna do. Listen, what she's got. By the way, she's got to realise. I don't like talking about it like this sometimes because she's gone in there and smashed, and I've done nothing. So I don't.
And there's a lot at stake and all that. So
right, exactly. But
we can't even begin to sort of understand the disappointment associated with putting.
No, right, but we're chatting about it. We've chose to chat about this stuff, so we've got to chat about it. I can't also, be scared about chatting about it. But I don't. Sometimes I get the impression that I sound horrible saying that. Why is she getting the ump that she's lost? It's like, come on, of course she's got the ump. But it's just sometimes it's the way people do things. The fact that she's gone to Twitter and going mad about it. Can't she just think about it and go, Michelle Waterson, a real big name, definitely ranked higher than her, quite a few places higher than her. I know you wanted to win. It's a split decision. You almost won. Yeah, I know you think you won, right? But you left it in the hand of the judges, if you like, if you want to give it that chat. And a lot of people think you won, and the right people, the judges, a couple of them didn't, and one of them did. It's a split decision. That means it's a very, very close fight. And someone, by the way, has to lose unless it's a draw. So you can get the ump if you like and say, I should have won and all that. But if you did, then Waterson's now got to go home crying about it, going, there's a loss. Someone's going to be very disappointed. That's what I'm saying.
Of course not. But the thing is, as well, is I think when the dust settles, because people are emotional, and like I say, we can't even begin to sort of understand how frustrating it is after you've put in all that time, that effort, the blood, sweat and tears, all that stuff. But like I say, it was a very, very close fight. And when they are that close, you just got to kind of grit your teeth and go, damn, I really wish I got that nod that time, or wish the ref the judges just saw it from in my favour slightly or whatever. But the truth is, when the dust settles on this, she'll go, like you say, Waterson was ranked higher than her, and she hasn't done her brand any damage. She's going to be, people love the fight. The fact that she had that fight and she lost on a split decision has raised her stock more than if she won a boring 5-round shutout decision. Okay,
well, I agree. Absolutely right.
As far as I'm concerned, her next fight will not be to defend her number 13 ranking
That'll
against.
still be on the main card and all that.
Yeah, it's going to be a main card, maybe even a main event. As far as I'm concerned, she'll probably get someone like a Carla Esparza or a Gadelia. I think she'll get someone like that. I think she's got a good chance of beating Esparza, definitely. Gadelia a little bit tough, but I think she'll probably beat Gadelia.
Well, Hill lost to Gadelia in the last fight, so she'll probably want to get that back, won't she? She lost to Gadelia in the last fight.
But yeah, that was another fight.
So she'll probably want that. Well, I'd understand why she'd want that rematch, but
absolutely, yeah, and I think
I think that then, yeah.
I think she'll get it, and I think her stock's gone up, and she's probably, like I say, when the anger and all that and the frustrations got dipped a little bit, and she gets a phone call from the UFC and she hears that she's not going to be fighting someone who's ranked 14th or 15th or even 12 or 11. I genuinely think they'll give her probably a top 8 person next time. Well, I think they'll match her up as if she won the fight, because she had
so do I. It won't make no difference.
And essentially could have gone either way. So I think Vetheridge should be happy, because obviously the win would be even better. But out of all the scenarios, that's kind of almost like the second best scenario she could have. A fight that people loved, that people are going to talk about as fight of the year against someone who's higher ranked than her. Like I say, that will do more for her than if she just squeaked through a boring 5-round decision. And
what keeps your stock high and keeps people in people's good books is how you deal with stuff, right? So I'm not asking you to be pleased for Waterson, right? But in some ways, I think I would be, because I'd just be like, well, like I said, someone's got to lose this fight. And I kind of didn't really lose it. It's just that a couple of people thought I did worse than another bloke did. That's all. That's all it is. But I agree.
If she got a different set of 3 judges, that could conceivably have been scored 48-47 to her by all 3. That's all it is at the end of the day.
I haven't checked, but I bet they got bonus and whatnot. There's no... I don't know. I don't mind her being disappointed, but I don't know why she's taking it so hard as a loss. So listen, it ain't really. It's a loss because on your record it's a loss, but this ain't. This isn't going to damage your career or anything.
But like we always say, it's bad to do things on emotion. She's probably still really disappointed and upset, and so you kind of say stuff a little bit. You don't get your point across very well when you're frustrated.
Because you've got the ump, innit? Yeah.
Yeah, and like I say, once she gets a phone call, and gets told her next opponent, she'll realise, look, that obviously a win would have been better. Let's not get, we know that, but all things considered, she'll come out of this.
But I understand that the shoe on the other foot.
Get a bonus for fight of the night. So,
but Waterson's sitting there going, great, I'm glad the judges saw it that way. That's it. It's a 50-50 thing, isn't it? That's it. So, and then she basically got better than 50-50. Someone thought she won it, and loads of the public think she won that fight. So, and it does mean something. Dana White, he'll think she's great, that she's a, needle mover and all that. It's done. There's no damage here.
No, only positive things will come for her through this. So if you're listening, and I know you do listen to the show, Angela.
Yeah.
Chin up, but not up as high as Khama Worthy's chin, because it got banged out. So keep it a bit lower than that, but don't worry about it. You're going to be all good. Your career's only on the upwards trajectory. Don't worry about it.
I've got a question for you. On the embedded type shows, there was one of them I was playing before the fight and stuff, and so I had all the chats about Waterson, training with her husband and all that stuff. Right? Yeah. So her brother's surname, he come up on the screen. So her brother's surname is John Jit. And I went, John Jit? Okay, so her name is Michelle John Jit, because he's a man, right? We talked about this before, about marriage and stuff, right? Hey? His name was something like, John Jit. It weren't John. But, his surname was John Jit, right? And I went, that means now I've learnt her surname, maiden name, whatever, Michelle John Jit, right? But, she's a married woman. She's taken on her husband's name. So that's why her name's Waterson, right? Hey?
His name's Gomez, though.
And then he come up and his name was Gomez. And I went, what's happened? So where's the Waterson come from?
Is it possible that perhaps she's that John Jit is maybe her half brother from another marriage or something?
Just come up, Michelle's brother, and I went, all right, well, brother, her name's John Jit, and I went, oh no, it's Waterson. Oh no, because she's married. Hang on, she's married to Gomez. What the fuck?
Brother could be adopted. Could be all manner of
Could
things.
be.
The brother could
Why
be.
didn't? That's what that show is for, right? To give me
Yeah,
the
but the
fighter's
brother,
backstory. Where is the backstory?
the
I
brother
had a
could be a
question.
man who decided to take his wife's name. You know, because he's a weed. Who knows? Look, who knows? And I'll tell you what. Who cares? Right. Now let's get to the real discussion point of this
The
card.
meat of the card.
Yep.
The meat of the card is Ed Herman versus Mike Rodriguez, light heavyweight fight. Rodriguez was the favourite. This is short fuse. Can't remember how old he is, saying like 41 or something. He's, getting on a bit and all that. Ultimate Fighter guy. This fight, there's a fair bit to discuss, I think. I absolutely loved it. We said beforehand, Ed Herman's brilliant, and he's proved it. Great. I liked it. So, I don't care who goes first. I've got things to say. I'm sure you've got things to say. You must have things to say. Hey, I wait with bated breath for what you've got to say because you've actually told me, please save this fight till last. I've saved it till last. It's last. I've done exactly what you wanted, and I'm running out of breath here. I've got bated breath.
All right. Well, I'm not gonna.
What?
Okay.
Right, I don't want all this lethargic
about
stuff. You've made me save this. This is basically this is what Helwani would call the people's main event. You've made me save this till the end. I don't want it. Well, No, let's have it.
What I was gonna say is
Come on.
I'm not going to talk about the fight as in breakdown rounds 1 and 2 too much or anything like that. Other than to say, Mike Rodriguez, who we spoke about before, saying we thought he was a good top 10 light heavyweight coming through.
Yep.
He dominating the fight. He had, kind of the range sussed, pretty much everything sussed. Herman was, I think, pretty, if you like, defeated, as in like he was sort of in a little, not in survival mode as in he was, Frankie Edgar, Gray Maynard round 2. Not that kind of survival mode, but he was.
He's in pain, mate, for sure.
Yeah, he was, he was sort of plodding around the outskirts of the cage, which he always does, to be fair to him.
Yeah.
But he definitely wasn't. He was feeling it. And Mike Rodriguez was picking him apart. And then we'll just that I think, can we both agree on that? And then we'll just get to the controversial bit.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah, I do agree with that. Herman was feeling it for sure. He was plodding around, but I like him because he was not giving up and he was looking for a way to figure the guy out, to win, to outsmart him, whatever. That's what he was trying to do. And he just couldn't find an answer. I ain't saying he never did find an answer. I ain't saying it ain't possible. I'm saying that he was struggling to find an answer. He was getting redder and redder, through just getting beaten up. That Rodriguez is wicked. He's really good. Great clinch again. He's such a good example for a clinch. Definitely a great guy to watch if you want to go, he was a good clinch. Anderson Silva, amazing clinch. This guy, amazing clinch as well, right? I don't know if you remember, there's a part in the fight where he had a bit of he was going backwards and he slammed an elbow into Herman, it felled Herman, right? But the good thing about the elbow is it was coming backwards. Yeah? So he didn't have the same force, and he used the exact right strike in that position, something short and hard that he wasn't, going to have to use a lot of torque in his waist or anything like that. And you kind of almost just shove it there. Brilliant. To use all that in a fight and all that while going backwards and all that. He's trained, really well trained. Good fighter. Herman, I'm going to say he's amazing because the amount of kicks he took to the body, mate, those kicks he was taking to the bod, oh my word, they were so hard. I'm telling you, those kicks were so hard. And he was barely, I could tell they were hurting. But he weren't going down. He weren't wincing. He was wincing, but not in the way where you'd go, oh, I've got him. I'm going to go and finish him. That guy, he's rock hard. Sorry, but I rate him for plodding around that cage and getting slapped up and taking everything. He's brilliant.
All right. So
he
then
ended up winning this fight. So after saying that, he ended up winning this fight. How'd that happen?
So the one quick observation, Ed Herman is basically a ginger Miocic voice.
Oh yeah, same
face.
Barnet and everything.
Yeah, everything's the same now. Since Miocic has got a new Barnet, they are Barnet. His hair, sorry, they are basically they're twins now. It's just Herman is like a rare. Miocic is medium, well done. Herman is rare. Like if they were steaks, I mean, Herman's red raw, isn't he? I mean, he's just.
Yeah, ain't he just come out of the fridge?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
He
he needs to be
ain't even hit the pan yet.
he hasn't even been defrosted yet. So, but outside of that, what? Let's cut to the chase here, right? There was a knee, and to me, it was clearly to sort of, if you like, the sort of. I'm no sort of expert on the human anatomy, but it was around the top of the rib cage, the stomach area, and a second later he landed.
Are you saying you noticed that and thought that without any replays?
I saw that at the time.
Okay.
To me, there was when he landed that. So he landed one, as they show in the replays, and then he landed another one in a similar area, possibly a little bit lower down, if I remember rightly. And that's when Ed Herman crumpled to the floor. But if you notice, I think it was after the first one, he actually held the area that he got struck in. He held that sort of, that kind of, he tried to defend that sort of just below his pectoral muscles. And he went down, and as I watched it, I immediately went, that's it, fight's over. Or Rodríguez just needs to go and sort of like punch him in the side of the head a couple of times, and then the ref will step in, which is what happened, right? Rodríguez did do that. Tony stepped in. And Tony's been on a good run lately, hasn't he, with his stoppages? He's been getting everything right. He's been letting fights go on. It's because he's got tattle on his head. He's been letting fights go on too long that have eventually proved good because the person on the receiving end's come good and blah, blah, blah. So he's been on a good run. But I've since seen that Dana White said this was, Steve Mazzagatti level mistake.
I like Mazzagatti.
Yeah, we both do, especially the moustache version.
Yeah, he's well good.
And he made things exciting.
Ian's a Rogers a batter and all that. He's amazing.
Yeah, loads of good stuff. Brock Lesnar tap on the backside.
He's the best.
But he now the reason why I think this was such a bad decision is because when you watch it live and you're in no doubt live that something's happened, then when the ref, who's supposed to be up close to the action and real at, sort of spotting and analysing stuff, when they get it wrong, you kind of go, I saw that from a rubbish camera angle.
Well, maybe you had a better angle.
But maybe I did, right? But there was a lot of things to be seen. When Ed Herman went on the floor and crumpled on the floor, he wasn't holding his, his love potatoes. He was holding his
belly.
His midriff.
Agreed.
And when I watched the replays, I thought to myself, well, look, maybe I missed something. Maybe, he caught the cup on the way up or on the way down. And on one of the knees, you do see it sort of rake slightly down past the cup. But, something that would just happen normally in a sort of a close clinch. It was nothing that would have caused that kind of damage. And as we saw, Herman was grabbing the area where he got kneed. He wasn't grabbing his reproductive area. So as far as I'm concerned, it was obvious. And when he sort of like gave Ed Herman time, even Mike Rodríguez at the time, I think he kind of went, what? Like, as in, he was surprised. He was like, what do you mean? What's going on?
Yeah, what are you stopping it for? Yeah.
Yeah, because
why are you timing out? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Why are you timing out? Why are you not waving it off? And I felt the same. I was like, I just can't understand what's going on here. And then you started seeing Ed Herman sort of loosen up his cup a little bit when Tony gave him time out. So I think, he used his experience. He was saying afterwards he didn't know whether it hit, where it hit. And I think there can be an element of that. In the moment heat of the battle, you don't know where you've been struck. And if the ref's telling you, look, you just got fouled, you kind of have to go, all right, I got fouled. Maybe I didn't notice it because I was focusing on my rib cage. Maybe he did hit me in the sack as well. So I can make a justification for Herman, well done. But doing stuff like grabbing his cup when he clearly wasn't in distress about that area, to me showed that he was using his experience and a little bit of whatever you want to call it, know-how, play acting, to buy time. And in some ways, I really rate that, okay, because we talked earlier about Brock Weaver when he got told to carry on the fight, looked like he wanted to cry. I like the fact that even though Herman was getting battered, he wasn't looking for an exit. He was still looking for I'll ride out this 5 minutes and try and get back in there. So I rate all that. But for me, And you know we're Ed Herman fans, right? Both of us. We actually said it in the previous show. We like the guy. I really don't like this, and I don't like what happened.
I love it.
What he done. I don't like how.
Love it.
And I'm not bad mouthing him because I still like him loads. I think he's brilliant, a real good seasoned veteran. But I don't like it. I just like a little bit more honesty. And now I'll let you tell me why you think it's brilliant and you love it. At the end of the day, the wrong guy's got the win. The guy who lost where is gone, and it's just
okay. Whose fault is it then? Okay, before I do my take on it, whose fault? You said the wrong guy's got the win, yeah? Whose fault is that?
Okay, it's essentially Tyone's fault, but I do feel that if Ed Herman could have been a real sportsman and said, "I didn't get hit in the sack,"
would you have done that? Honestly,
look, it's easy for me to sit here and be a do-gooder and say, "Well, of course I would. I'm a man of honor and integrity." And like I said, when you're in a fight, maybe you are, and a referee stops and says, "You just got hit in the nuts." Maybe you will go
lower gut shots. You do feel in the nuts.
Yeah, that's
not like getting kicked in the nuts, by the way, but
Yeah, you get that sickly feel.
I think you can still feel it a little bit. But I'm sure. By the way, he's been kicked in the gut and he's been kneed in the sack. He's had it. He's had it all, right? So he knows the difference, right? You know what I mean? Yeah.
He knew, and that's what don't sit right with me. He knew that what happened weren't illegal, should I say? Look, I'm sure someone like Chael Sonnen would go, listen, he used, done what best he could to win the fight, and that's what he's in there to do. I would just like it if people were a bit more honest. But at the end of the day, him having my seal of approval, me going, "Oh, isn't Ed Herman an amazing sportsman as well?" That don't pay his bills. That don't get him up the rankings. That don't get him a big fight next time out. And the thing that he really does deserve a pat on the back is he went in there against a guy who's battering him and found a way to win. And that says a hell of a lot about him. But I hate the fact that Rodríguez has had a legitimate win cheated away from him. And if you want to say it's not, it's 90% Tyone, 10% Herman.
There's no Herman.
Okay, even if you want to say it's 100% Tyone, 0% Herman, doesn't matter. Rodríguez has had his pants pulled down. And I don't like that. And
don't matter.
Well, you can say it don't matter.
The reason it don't matter, right, is because first off, this is what Rodríguez has said afterwards. I'll read it out.
Go on.
I would just say it happened. It was an awkward moment in our sport. We should just accept it and move right along. Don't send Ed Herman no hate messages or anything. Please don't. He's a good dude. All he did was get an opportunity and he capitalised on it. That was it. So what I'm saying is, good guy, not doing an Angela Hill, moving on, and should have won that fight. Looking at the replay, which I believe it doesn't matter that it was all over the monitors. So what I'm saying is Tognoni could have seen that, right? It doesn't matter. He can't use it. It just so happened that, the unified rules or whatever rules were in play that night, he couldn't use that replay, right? I don't know the ins and outs of that, but I know he wasn't allowed to use it to correct himself. So it's all on him, though. If we're saying that he never got kneed in the sack and it looked like he didn't, that's all him. That's all the ref, right? The only thing I would say about Herman is maybe I'd think he was better if at the end of it he got lucky there, man. Blimey. I didn't get kneed in the sack.
But that would show that he willingly...
That's right. But would you prefer... Or would you really expect him in the heat of that battle to go, "What you doing, Tognoni, tattoo head?" It was in the guts. You really expect him to do that? I know you want him to do it. Very unlikely. We've also, this really matters. The fight before that bit that we discussed before we got to the controversy is important because we discussed it and we said this guy was getting slapped up bad, kicked all over the place, elbowed in the head, booted in the guts. His guts were already wrecked. I'm telling you, they were wrecked, right? He's getting beat up. He didn't know how to win. He was plodding around that cage and we said he didn't really know what to do, how to get an answer for it. And he got an opportunity and he took it. Now, he didn't just take it, as in Diego Sanchez, that fight, that was against Michel Pereira, I think. And in that, you could say he took an opportunity as in, oh, illegal need me and I can't continue. Can you continue? No. DQ or whatever, and he won the fight, right? That's a real opportunity taken, worse than this, I think, right? Because what Herman did, that Sanchez didn't, he did actually legitimately win that fight eventually. Whether it should have gone on or not, it's kind of like they had two fights, right? One that ended with Rodríguez doing him in the guts, and one that ended with Herman winning by Kimura. That's kind of what's happened.
The record only shows that
That's
Herman
right.
won.
That's right.
And also exactly the fact that the Kimura shouldn't have existed because the fight should have been over.
I know, but just looking at Herman's performance before that moment, and the fact that he has been kneed in the guts, so more damage, to get up after it, cheating or not, or dishonest or not.
I don't think he was cheating.
No, he's not. He's definitely not cheating. No, he's not cheating, is he? Because it's all afforded to him by the rules and the referee. So it's definitely not cheating, right? Definitely not cheating. But he got up after that, and he could have just cruised to losing the decision anyway. He won it. I really liked it. It's the first time I believe in a fight that I've shouted out yes, and got excited. I loved it. I liked the whole thing about it. It was entertaining. It was brilliant that Herman was definitely not going to win that fight, and he did find a way to win. I don't know if Tyone's his mate or what. I don't know what happened. It looked pretty obvious in real time as well. I didn't need a replay either, unless I saw a replay and went, well, there you go. That's what replays are for. I also didn't think I needed a replay. But the guy, I thought after that was probably going to get up and lose a decision. He Kimura'd him. Now, he could have Kimura'd him and won that fight simply because Rodríguez was disheartened.
I don't believe it.
Well, I don't know. But I don't know. But without that moment, okay.
Right at the end of the fight, I think he just got in a bad spot.
Okay, all right, okay. Well, I'll ask you this then. Without that moment, without the knee to the guts and the break, you still think that Kimura would have happened at that moment in that fight, or do you think it would have carried on as it would with him kicking him around the cage?
Without the break, I imagine that Rodríguez would have stopped him.
That's what I think.
But I mean, he should have stopped him, right? He had him down on the floor. He threw a couple of punches, if I remember rightly, and Tony stepped in. And I thought, well, that's it, fight over, as a justified stoppage. And then he was like, time out. And I was like, time out.
Yeah, great. It made for a real.
Well, of course, right? If that didn't happen, we wouldn't have saved this talk till last, right? It made that fight intriguing, exciting, memorable. Brilliant. I mean, that's a fight that I will talk about probably in years to come. I'll say, do you ever remember that when Ed Herman beat that guy after? And like I said at the start, there's so much to sort of credit Herman with. A fight he was getting battered in. This wasn't a fight where he got, he was cruising all the way through, then got, caught with a gut shot out of the blue and went down and got given his second opportunity. It was a fight he was getting battered, and rather than take the easy option and go, well, I can't carry on because of that low strike, he decided to go back into the fire and carry on fighting and try and see it out to the end. Who knows, maybe he didn't, deep down, if he's thinking that the ref said, you got hit in the sack, maybe he's like, oh, well, I thought it was the stomach, but maybe it was the sack.
Exactly. He could have quit. He could have used that opportunity to quit as well as carry on.
I just think that it's horrible for Mike Rodríguez. Look, he got his win bonus.
Yeah, exactly.
And a little bit like Angela Hill, his stock definitely hasn't gone down. Dana White has even said
he won.
Yeah, giving him his win bonus because essentially he's saying he won, he got robbed, if you like.
And it's a sort of fight that could even be overturned. That one, I understand.
I hope it's not, right? It is what it is. It's done now.
Well, but I don't know. What about if
it's done? It's done. Forget about it. But I just think it's next time, again, like Angela Hill, next time he gets a phone call, Rodríguez, he's not going to be getting a phone call to defend his, say, ranking from people below him. He's going to be getting a call to face a guy that he would have faced if he won that fight. I don't think it's done his career any damage whatsoever. If anything, it's probably done more damage to Ed Herman's career because some people are probably calling into question his credibility, his, moral code. If you want.
I mean, not me, but yeah.
Me neither. If you really want to get stupid about this stuff. I'm just saying that in a nice, ideal world, Ed Herman might, if he knew deep down the stoppage was legitimate, he might have stood up and said, "Tony, you got it wrong. I went down because he smashed me to the chest and I can't carry on." And, that would have been a real, sort of everyone stands up, applauds Ed Herman's sportsmanship and applauds Mike Rodriguez's, victory, and everyone goes home happy. But, what happened. I like both guys. I got no problem with it. It's just not very nice for Rodriguez. But like I say, I don't think he's going to feel the impact of it anyway. So I don't think it's going to leave any damage on his career or anything like that.
No, and you've seen he's all good.
If anything, he'll learn from it, right? It might even be a better fighter. And in all essence, he's got the win because Dana White's treating him like he's got the win, both in his financial way and in, the way he's talking about him. So he's got nothing to worry about. Herman showed a lot of positive stuff, like I say, going back into the fire when he could have bailed and done a Diego Sanchez. The only thing I wanted to bring up, though, and I was thinking about it at the time, do you remember, I think it was Chris Weidman versus, was it Yaramero or Masasi? I think it might have been Masasi.
Masasi's the knee one.
Yeah, and he got kneed, and the ref kind of done a timeout or, let me
Actually,
check.
Romero's the knee one as well, but he got KO'd by that flying knee. Yeah. It's a knee one as well, but a different knee, yeah.
Yeah, and Weidman was lying on the floor, pretending to be, well, not pretending, he was sort of smashed in. He was on the floor and can't continue right away. I need 5 minutes or whatever, because that was an illegal strike. And the ref went away and checked it and said, wasn't an illegal strike, and then didn't give Weidman the opportunity to carry on. He went, well, no, because you've had this extra breath now, the fight's over. After you've had this extra time, the fight's over, and stopped it, right? And so to me, I just looked at this and went, so why isn't Tony allowed to replay it? And why it is? I'm sure there's a logical explanation, or it's
not logical. It's not logical.
Different rules are in effect. We're in a different state.
It's a rubbish rule, apparently. I don't know. I didn't really understand it, but it's one of them rules that's silly and shouldn't be.
Yeah, it should just be blanket rules across the whole of America. It's just so stupid, this thing. But anyway, and all through all of Europe and everything. But I just looked at that and I just went, well, how is this different from Weidman? Why can't the ref go out, check the replay and go, sorry, Ed, I got it wrong. It was a legitimate strike. You might have thought you got done in the sack. We don't know, but you didn't.
Listen, I'm telling you now, he knew. He knew after, because I guarantee he was standing in there within that 5-minute timeout and he could see it up on the monitors. The replays were going ahead. He knew, but I'm telling you now, he weren't allowed to use that replay. But he would have known at that point. It's like, I've done it, unless he didn't look at the monitors. But look, I liked it.
No, I don't think there's any right or wrong answer. Like you say, it's you say you like it, and
yeah, I did. Yeah,
it made the event, if you like, pretty memorable for that.
Definitely, it was brilliant.
It's good in that way, and as we said I don't think nothing's changed in our preview show. We said Mike Rodriguez is definitely a top 10 good light heavyweight coming through. To me, I think he's got potential to be top 5. Really quick and all that. And Ed Herman. The truth is, we really like Ed Herman.
But it's good to have that.
I like the fact he won, even though he shouldn't have done.
No, I loved it. I liked it that he won, yeah. But he definitely shouldn't have won. There's no doubt he shouldn't have won and the fight should have been stopped. But because it did go that way, I do think that without the knees in the guts and the break, that he would have just lost that fight, either got stopped at another point or got decisioned by him quite easily. And that's why I think that the 5 minutes isn't what made Ed Herman win. That's why I think it might be something to do with Rodriguez after that, a bit mentally depleted and going, not giving up or anything, but making a bit of a mistake there. I think I'd have to watch the rest of that fight again to see how. A little bit casual, he thought, well, this fight's done and done. Because he had breaks in between Herman. He had normal corner breaks. It didn't make him any better, right? That's why I'm saying that it could be a mental thing after him going, for God's sake, don't forget his adrenaline's come down. He's like, yes, I've done him. And then he's all a bit, I don't know, frustrated or annoyed going, what do you mean? Now he's got to wait around and get cold. Well, for a bloke who didn't get kneed in the sack, now he's got to get back into a fight. I think there's a mental thing there. Not that he needs to fix. I'm just saying that he might have got himself in a position he wouldn't have got into if that break and mind stuff wasn't there. Because he weren't nowhere near losing that fight. And that's what made it so good. It's a shame that didn't happen legitimately. it sort of ain't, is it? Because that made it more interesting. But, you know, had he had just pulled that win out of the bag out of nowhere, you know, I don't really like that kind of thing anyway, because it's kind of what annoys me about jiu-jitsu, right? You can be beating a bloke up and then he can just, like a schoolboy, put his arms around your neck and you tap out and that's the fight done. It's like, he weren't better. You know?
No, it's also what's good about jiu-jitsu as well, isn't it? It's the ultimate equalizer that you can
Yes.
be getting battered by someone, but then you can just go bang in the blink of an eye to what most lay people would just go, well, what happened? And you're like, well, if that guy didn't tap, I was basically going to snap his ligaments off. So, you know, that's kind of what's good about it as well.
Yeah, of course.
So
Of course.
it's one of those things that, you know,
Like, you know, there's times when I like it and times when I don't, right? So there's times when I don't like it. I can't tell you one now because I can't think of one. I can tell you one where I do like it, and that was when Anderson Silva done Chael Sonnen, you know, at the end of round 5 with jiu-jitsu. Then I went, jiu-jitsu is brilliant.
I'll tell you, my favourite ever submission now, I mean, you know, for me to say that obviously means that I've not thought about it, but I just know what my favourite submission is.
I never said it was my favourite. I just said it was a jiu-jitsu win that I liked.
Yeah. Well,
It shouldn't have happened. You know, the equaliser, like you say.
I didn't like what happened in this one, but it's the submission that sort of, if you like, sort of stained my memory most was Frank Mir, Big Nog.
Oh, that's the best. That's the best.
He was getting lit up. He was on his, you know, basically out, Frank Mir.
Yeah.
And then he kind of rolled over on top of him.
Now that's real fight. To me, that
like the arm snapped. That was too much for me.
no.
Squeamish with stuff like
that was real fighting. That to me weren't just jiu-jitsu. I've just grabbed. I managed to get his neck and he can't breathe anymore. That weren't that. He was fighting. That is amazing. That's still a fight.
I'll tell you another one I loved was Donald Cerrone Barboza, when he dropped him and just went round the back of him and literally just throttled him.
Oh yeah.
Because it had that rawness, like you say. It's not. It transcends martial arts and just becomes, if you like. I'll do what was it? Cub Swanson called it. I want to create beautiful chaos or something like that. You know, when he was a really good one. It's a little bit like that for me. It was like this is just almost like real.
Yeah, you ain't getting out of this. Yeah.
Real raw street fighting, but with loads of skill and technique, and that's
good because it's a mix-up, right? Rather than there was a guy the other day, I can't remember his name. He was terrible, and you could tell he's just done jiu-jitsu, no striking, no nothing. He lost the fight anyway. I really can't remember what his name is, but that's no good. Like they say, the Cerrone is good, you know, because it was a complete fight, if you like. You know, he had a real scrap. Ended it with throttling a bloke, but
he dropped him with a jab or a right hand, I think,
right,
with on the back of him, and just went, "Now I'm going to strangle you till you can't take it no more." You know,
rather than just I don't know, getting in a good position and going, "Oh, you know, there's his neck" or whatever. I don't know, like what Cormier did to Anthony Johnson, you know, just picking up his nose and putting his arm under his neck, you know. You know what I mean? That's not Frank Mir and Big Nog, is it? Or Cerrone Bob, but it's not the same. That to me, that's like fighting jiu-jitsu, you know. Yeah. Might as well be punching them. Yeah, it's definitely different. So that's all the fights.
That's me done.
Well, it's not, because before we go, it is, but that's the fights done. I'll just quickly do what we normally do and just go through some of the upcoming events that were on the broadcast. So the 19th, which is this weekend, correct, is Colby Covington versus Tyron Woodley. So that's a good one to look forward to.
Amazing.
Is there anything else on that card that stands out? I haven't looked yet. Then on the 26th is Dominic Reyes and Jan Blachowicz. And then on the 3rd is the best one, Holm versus Ardana.
Yeah. There is some good stuff on the. We won't go for it because we'll obviously do a proper preview show. But the Covington Woodley card has also got Chimaev, and he's been having a little bit of that. Gerald Mearshot's been getting a little bit.
That's right.
Because, he's kind of had 2 fights lined up, as if basically they don't shot a fighting chance. So
he has got 2 fights lined up, which and that is disrespectful. The reason it is because it is looking past him, because say it don't matter if he wins the Mearshaft Gerard blow. It don't matter if he wins the fight. He can still have a fight booked and have another fight. So what? It's the fact that, well, you might get your face smashed off. You might get a broken leg. You know, you might be concussed and have to be out. And they're like, well, no, he definitely ain't going to have that. So we'll book another fight. So it is crap.
Yeah, I get why he's.
Yeah.
his nose has been put out of joint. There you go. That's what the English would say.
And he ain't
But
bad. That
there's
near
also
shaft bloke ain't crap.
No, he can pull out a win. Let's put it. I don't think
Definitely.
he's like the top guy, but he can pull out a win. Donald Cerrone versus Nico Price, Johnny
Yeah,
Walker,
I like
the
both.
USBG
Oh,
version.
yes.
Yeah, there's some stuff to look forward to on that card for
There
sure.
you go. Yeah. So we've got some good stuff coming up at the weekend then. So that's that. And there you go. So, yeah. Cheers for the chat.
We obviously, I don't know why you didn't say, but Adesanya.
I don't know what date is that one. Is that after Ardana's?
September 26th.
No,
So
the 26th is Dominic Reyes and Blackowitz. I thought I've maybe got.
Oh, hang on, is Costa? Yeah, I mean Reyes and Blackowitz are the co-main, no?
Oh no, are they? Oh, all right. Well, maybe I'm mistaken then.
Maybe I'm wrong, but that was what I thought. But anyway,
well, tell me what events on the 26th?
I thought I knew, and now you're.
No, because that's just what I saw on the screen. Fitzgerald's wrong then.
It says at 253, unless one of them's tested positive for COVID or something since we've gone on air or what have you. So
gone on air like that. Good one.
I don't know. Yeah, I mean that was the main event, and Blackowitz and Reyes. I mean, I guess it's a double main event. It's both they're both for titles, aren't they?
Maybe I just did, saw it wrong on the screen. If you know what I mean, didn't maybe I just saw the top fight and I missed the one that was right at the top. Could be. All right. Well, there you go. Well, that's even better than that one. Costa and Adesanya and Reyes and Blackowitz. Good one. Like that.
Yeah, great.
Oh, that didn't sound genuine. All right. Well, we'll leave that one there.
I'm really looking forward to that.
Yes, I am as well, yeah. So that's the UFC Fight Night Vegas 10, Waterson versus Hill post-fight show, chat. And that's it. So, over and out from both of us. And see you on the next show, whatever that may be. Thanks very much for listening. If you managed it, there was plenty of good chats in there. Ed Herman, not even making it to the frying pan, that kind of stuff. Plenty of good things in there. And we'll see you next time. Thanks very much for the chat. I'll see you soon.
Nice one.
Yep. See you later. All right.